Good afternoon. I'm Garba Jallo. I am the Director of Crossing Borders. I am here to make a statement about why the Black Lives movement is necessary. So to start with, I would like to express our thanks and appreciation for the Black Lives movement and the action that they have been taking that represent the aspirations and the dignity of people from around the world. Black Lives Movement is for the sake of our inner and our outer emancipation and that of our cultures, arts, economies, and policies. The 25 May assassination of George Floyd under the sadistic knees of Derek Chauvin and his brothers in crime has once again reminded us that the cries of Black Lives Matter movement are not only natural, but they are necessary for the sake of the emancipation of humanity from the pandemic of racism. As Crossing Borders organization, whose mission is to create spaces for dialogue and on equal terms, we join the Black Lives Movement to condemn in the strongest possible terms the systematic police brutality and its underlying historical, cultural, linguistic, media, and economic structures. We condemn these structures as they inspire and fuel the mental and emotional infrastructures that justify having cruel white supremacist knees on the necks of Black people for so long. We recognize that these knees on the necks of the Black are the pandemics that has prevented Black people from breathing for the past 401 years. During these years, Black people endured kidnapping, enslavement, forced labor, colonization, apartheid, and the ongoing exploitation of their bodies and economies. We recognize that these structures are the root causes of the daily racism and discrimination that Black people and the communities of color are systematically subjected to in international relations, academia, museums, movement across borders, in our streets, schools, and workplaces. We also recognize that the history of racist abuse has run so long and so deep that even black victims have internalized and applied it on themselves, as manifested in self-denial and abuse. Thus, we hope that the momentum that the murder of George Floyd has generated will escalate and sustain until until these underlying structures are dismantled and replaced with the recognition of the fact that there is only one human race. That cultural diversity, cultural and other diversities are not only what makes the human race survive and thrive, but cultural diversity is as necessary as the biological diversity of the planet Earth. Therefore, to begin with, we as Crossing Borders propose the following measures as a way of dealing and tackling these systematic problems. Number one, we need to recognize apologize and cleanse about historical crime of enslavement, colonialism, apartheid, and the still ongoing discrimination, exclusion, exploitation of Black people and other communities of color. 2, cleanse our education, media, language, museums, and amusement parks of racist legacies, just like we have done with the bundling and the burning of smart women and pulling down monuments of Nazi war crimes, war criminals. 3, launch an honest cultural exchange and spaces for dialogue for youth, educators, artists, schools, and universities to learn not to repeat the past. We need to learn from the past. And as it says, as the saying goes, if we don't learn from the past, we repeat it, or we tend to repeat it. 4, replace development aid with fair trade and knowledge sharing partnership with Africa and other countries of people of color. 5, include Black and brown people in our schools, workplaces, parliament, company boards, and other key positions wherever possible. The public and civil society sector should walk the talk by taking the lead to do this. As Nelson Mandela said here, education is the most powerful weapons that we can use to change the world. 6, the nations whose economies were built on the Black blood and bodies should set museums to recognize and honor the vital contribution of Black people to their countries. 7, launch campaigns of public education about the degrading abuse of Black people's pictures by seemingly honest charities for fundraising and brainwashing purposes. Thank you very much. As I said, I was talking on behalf of Crossing Borders as part of the global solidarity with the Black Lives Movement. Thank you very much.